Hey there, viewers. Has your nose been running like a faucet lately? Is constantly blowing snot rockets only making it worse? Trust me, you don't want to be that person with a tissue hanging out of your nostril. A runny nose is a common thing depending on the season. Maybe you have allergies, or maybe it's something a little more serious. Let's talk about 9 reasons why your nose keeps running. Sure, we all know about the common cold, but what about dry air? What exactly is a deviated septum? What about acute sinusitis? Wait, could it be a sign that you're pregnant? We're talking all that and more. Number 1. Hay fever. Let's get this one out of the way. Allergies are so annoying, we all know that. But your runny nose is often a good way of helping you realize you have allergies. Ever heard of hay fever? Also known as allergic rhinitis, hay fever is inflammation of the nose. It happens when your immune system reacts to particles in the air. When this happens, your nose becomes either stuffy or really runny. You'll also be sneezing like crazy. Other symptoms of hay fever include fatigue and itchy red eyes. This sickness can occur during the spring, summer, or early fall. The only time you'll get a break from this is during the winter, probably because you're busy dealing with some other type of cold. Keep in mind, there are people that will deal with hay fever all year round. This is known as perennial allergic rhinitis. It's normally caused by dust mites, pet hair, mold, and even cockroaches. So if you have very sensitive seasonal allergies, prepare to have a runny nose. What are you allergic to? Is it a common allergy? Is it something really weird? Sound off in the comment section and start a conversation with our Bestie community. Number 2. Spinal fluid leak. Now this one's pretty scary. I mean, allergies are really unpleasant, but you usually find a way to keep them under control. This one's a whole different ballpark. Let's talk about cerebral spinal fluid for a moment. Also known as CSF for short, this is the liquid that surrounds your brain and spinal cord. Not only does it cushion both these things from injury, it also delivers nutrients to the brain. On top of that, it removes waste. But this can come with a fair amount of problems. The fluid can leak out. The fluid can leak out of a small tear in your connective tissue. This causes the brain to sag into the skull, resulting in a headache. There are many different symptoms that come with CSF leaks. One of them is drainage that seeps out through the nose. It can even come out of the ear, as well as down your throat. It's not a good time. If your nose is constantly leaking and you feel this might be the reason, talk to a doctor ASAP. A runny nose will be the least of your issues. Number 3. Deviated septum. Sometimes it's not an issue with your brain or your spinal cord. Sometimes a running nose is just a problem with your septum. The septum is the cartilage that separates the nostrils from each other. A deviated septum is when the wall is displaced to one side. This makes your nasal passage much smaller. This doesn't only cause your nose to run, but also bleed. A deviated septum can happen when the tissues lining the nose start swelling. This often occurs due to an injury of some sort. Certain people can also get it due to complications at birth. If you're experiencing nosebleeds and think it's because of a deviated septum, make sure you're talking to a professional. It can make it much harder for you to breathe. Other symptoms also include facial pain and noisy breathing during sleep. Number 4. Acute sinusitis. Nosebleeds are scary, but have you ever had that thick green and yellow discharge dripping from your nose? This could be a sign of acute sinusitis. Acute sinusitis happens when the membranes surrounding your sinus become inflamed. It's normally caused by an infection of some kind. Other potential causes include bacteria, hay fever, and cystic fibrosis. Studies show that it affects 1 in 8 Americans every year. If acute sinusitis is what you have, you're going to see a gross, thick mucus coming out of your nose. It's impossible not to notice. At the same time, you're also going to have a really awful sore throat, along with aches and pains all throughout your head. Your sense of taste and smell is going to suffer. If this is what you're experiencing, make sure you get the right treatment. There are several different kinds of home treatments you can undergo. Your doctor may also prescribe you antibiotics. There are so many things that bring on a runny nose. What if I told you it doesn't even need to be allergies in the air? It can simply be caused by the air itself. Let's talk about that. But before we continue, are you trying to get yourself in shape? Well, first you need to work on your diet. Check out our recent video on 20 nutritious foods you should be eating every day. Now back to our discussion on why your runny nose keeps running. Number 5. Dry air. There's nothing worse than feeling stuffy on a cold winter day. It's enough to make you miserable. But dry air doesn't just make you feel congested, it can also cause your nose to run like a tap. If your nasal passage is dried out, it will disrupt the balance of your fluids. As a result, your passage becomes inflamed and triggers a runny nose. If the air in your house is dry, try using the humidifier to add moisture back to the air. It's also good to put something over your face during the winter. Number 6. Nasal polyps. If you heard the word polyp before, it might scare you to hear that they're growing inside you. Nasal polyps are non-cancerous growths at the lining of your nose. They happen due to an inflamed mucous membrane. This sparks extra mucus production, causing your nose to start dripping. But that's just one part of it. Nasal polyps can also cause loss of smell, severe headaches, and snoring, not to mention added pressure on your sinuses. Number 7. Too much nasal spray. If you're like me, you've had people warn you about this before. I've made the mistake of not listening. Nasal spray can often do more harm than good. Using too much of it can make whatever congestion you're feeling much worse. If you're using the spray more than 5 days in a row, you'll give yourself a sinus infection. This brings on a runny nose. But this is one of the easier things to get over. All you really need to do is stop using the spray for a period of time. Things should go back to normal after about a week. Number 8. Too much spicy food. We've all had that one friend who just can't handle their spice. You'll be sitting in a restaurant watching them struggle through a basket of hot wings, only to shift your focus to the waterfall running out of their nostrils. To put it simply, spice makes your nose run. Let's talk about gustatory rhinosinusitis for a moment. When you eat that hot taco, the spice overstimulates your sinuses. Your mucous membrane mistakes the spice for an irritant and begins to produce extra mucus. This is done to remove the irritant. In a matter of minutes, your nose will start leaking. Not the most pleasant sight to see at the dinner table. Luckily for you, this stops not long after you're done eating. Number 9. Pregnancy. If you've ever been pregnant, you may have noticed your nose beginning to run. This is due to the hormones. Hormonal changes during pregnancy can lead to excess mucus, resulting in a runny nose. This is something known as non-allergic rhinitis. It affects around 20% of pregnant women. While this can happen at any point during pregnancy, symptoms usually disappear after you have the baby. This doesn't mean you have to deal with it every minute of every day during the pregnancy. There are ways to fight it. If you're in bed, one of the things you can do is raise your pillow up about 30 degrees and do a few exercises. This can loosen up the nose a little bit and improve symptoms. You can also talk to your doctor about prescribing you medicine. Certain antihistamines can do the trick. Your nose will often tell you a lot about your health, both good and bad. Have I sparked your interest? Let's keep the conversation going with a couple more health-related videos, shall we? Check out 15 juices that will detox your body naturally. Or what about the color of your urine and what it says about your health? Go ahead and click one. Better yet, watch both and learn more about how to become a healthier person. Is your nose running like crazy? Let us know in the comments below.